For 3,000 point of Skaven, we have the Grey Seer as the general. He has 3 Warpstone tokens. He's got the Talisman of Preservation and the Earthing Rod. He rolled up Skitterleap, Warp Lightning, the Crack's Call, and Death Frenzy. We have 1 Warlock Engineer, level 1 with Warp Lightning, and I believe he has a Warlock Augmented Weapon. We have a Warlord on a Bone Breaker. He has a Warlock Augmented Weapon. He has a Talisman of Endurance, and he has a shield for the armor save. Behind him, we have another Warlock. He is not a magic user. He's just carrying a Warlock pistol and the Skaven brew, a Skaven assassin that'll be hidden in the army. And we have our battle standard bearer who is packing a halberd. For core, we have 2 units of 30 clan rats. Each of them has a poison wind mortar attached to it. We have a unit of 46 storm vermin, and they have a rattling gun. Going into special, we have a unit of 40 plague monks who have the plague banner. We have a unit of gutter runners. They're the only painted unit in the army so far. We have a unit of 8 rat ogres, and they've got 3 pack masters, 5 poison wind globadiers, 4 Jezzails. We have 2 rat darts, 5 rats, and 1 pack master in each unit, a warp lightning cannon, and the Skaven doom wheel. So that right there is 3,000 points of Skaven. Over to the Tomb Kings. All right, run us through what you have in your freshly painted Tomb Kings.
So, for the general, we have the Tomb King with the Sword of Might, with Grand Hierophant Katep, a Tomb Herald who is the Battle Standard Bearer, a Necrotech, and 2 level 2 Lich Priests. A unit of 50 skeletons, unit of 30 skeleton archers, a unit of 25 as of currently unpainted Tomb Guard, 2 units of six horse archers, unit of 3 chariots, unit of 3 Necropolis Knights, 2 Screaming Skull Catapults, unit of 6 Ushabti, and Tomb Scorpions who will arrive by Entombed Beneath the Sands.
Cool. There is 3,000 points of Tomb Kings onto the table. We're all deployed for a battle line scenario. Okay, starting on the Skaven side, we've got the Doom Wheel, the Jezzails, or Rat Dart, the Warp Lightning Cannon, the Storm Vermin, Clan Rats, the Grey Seers in this unit of Clan Rats, the Battle Standard Bearer and the Engineer are in this unit of Clan Rats, the Warlord and the Engineer carrying the Skaven Brew is in this unit. We have the Plague Monks, another Rat Dart here, the Rat Ogres, and the Poison Wind Globadiers over on the flank. Hiding over here, we have the Gutter Runners behind the castle. Over on the Tomb King's side, we've got the Necropolis Knights over there in the corner, unit of scouted horse archers, a Lich Priest, the Tomb Guard with the Tomb King and the Tomb Herald, a catapult, skeletons with Katep in there. We've got a unit of the skeleton archers. We've got the Cryptech with the Ushabti, another catapult, and the chariots over there on the flank, and the other unit of horse archers hiding behind the trees. So there we are, all deployed up. The Skaven have won the roll to see who goes first, and we are off to turn 1.
Thank you.
Okay, end of Skaven turn 1. This is where we sit. The Doom Wheel rolled up. Didn't really do much else. The Skaven brew in the Storm Vermin turned out to be a frenzied brew, so that's kind of cool. We were out of range for most magic. This is what the rest of the line looks like. Shooting didn't turn out to be much. The Warp Lightning Cannon took out 4 skeleton archers, and the Jezzails did 2 wounds to the Ushapti over there, and that is it. So we will be moving on to the Tomb King's turn 1, and we'll see what they can do back. We are at the end of Tomb King's turn 1. The Tomb Kings fared a little bit better than the Skaven. The Horse Archers plucked off 1 Jezzail, but the Jezzails managed to pass their break test. Over here, shots from the Screaming Skull Catapult and the Archers killed 8 Storm Vermin. We lost 6 Plague Monks to the Screaming Skull Catapult over here. And that seems to be about it. Oh, and magic. The Tomb Kings cast a curse on the Gutter Runners, and they're now minus 3 inches to their movement. So they're going to be slowed up quite a bit for a turn. Good thing the Plague Monks and the Storm Vermin are frenzied, so no worries about anything there. And we are off to Skaven turn 2. Alright, end of Skaven turn 2. The Rat Ogres failed their frenzy test and tried to charge the Necropolis Knights, but they failed the charge. The Poison Wind Globadiers took a wound off a knight, so that was kind of nice. Over here, not much happened in the middle of the board. The Slingers managed to kill off a couple skeletons. They're not moving anywhere because of their hex. The Grey Seer didn't do much in magic. The Poison Wind Mortar, he managed to kill off 5 Tomb Guard over there, so that was very nice. And put a wound on the Tomb King. The Poison Wind Mortar over here killed off a couple skeletons out of that big block. We took out a Ushapti with a Warp Lightning from the Warlock over here. The Warp Lightning Cannon did nothing. The Jezzails did nothing. And the Rattling Gun misfired, spun around, and killed 3 Horse Archers. It was aiming for the skeletons. But misfires happen with Skaven. Amazingly enough, the Doom Wheel did manage to pass its restrain test and did not fry the giant rats. So, not a bad Skaven turn. Could have been better, but could have been a lot worse. So we are off to Tomb King's turn 2. We are at the end of Tomb King's turn 2, and it looks like the landscape of the game is changing a little bit. The Necropolis Knights charged the Rat Ogres and won, but fortunately for the Skaven, they could not catch the Rat Ogres, so they're fleeing. The Tomb Kings, using the Lore of Undeath, raised up another unit of skeletons in the backfield. But the wizard casting Lore of Undeath did do a wound to himself in the process. The Tomb King and the Tomb Guard killed one of the rat darts and reformed on the Plague Monks. The skeletons tried to charge the Plague Monks but failed. Over here, a scorpion popped up in our backfield. Another scorpion popped up in our backfield. The Horse Archers over here killed 2 of the Jezzails, and the last one is fleeing, probably never to be seen again. And, a direct hit from a Stone Thrower killed a big handful of Storm Vermin. And what else hit them? Was it a spell that hit them?
It was another one of the catapults.
Oh, another one of the catapults killed a couple more. And that's about it. But that was a pretty brutal turn. We'll see if the Skaven can come back from that on turn 3. We are at the end of Skaven turn 3, and this is how the board stands. The Rat Ogres failed to rally, but they are still on the board. Over here, the Poison Wind Globadiers went up to the rocks and threw their globes and killed off a Lich Priest. The Grey Seer couldn't do anything with magic, but did manage to shoot the Scorpion with his Warplock pistol. Over here, the Plague Monks unfurled the Plague Banner and took out 16 skeletons and only lost 8 Plague Monks in return, so they are still aptly frenzied. Over there, the Gutter Runners did 1 wound to the Screaming Skull Catapult. The Warp Lightning Cannon did nothing. The last Jezzail ran off the table. The Rattling Gun failed to do anything. Over here, strangely, the Storm Vermin ran into the Ushabti, only did 3 wounds, and I think most of that was done by the Bonebreaker. They were making their regen saves from the Cryptek like crazy. So they actually lost that combat.
Necrotech.
Or sorry, the Necrotech. Cryptek, that's Necrons, yeah. So the Cryptek, they lost that combat, they lost their frenzied, but they are still steadfast and holding there. As far as everything else, the Rat Dart tried to charge the Chariots just to keep the Chariots at bay, but they failed their fear test and ended up getting run down by the Chariot. So that's where we're at. Skaven Magic was about the same as usual. Over here, the Plaguewind Mortar blew itself up. Luckily, it didn't take anyone else out with it. So that's where we sit at the end of Skaven turn 3. We will move on to Tomb King's turn 3. This is where we sit at the end of Skaven turn 3. The Necropolis Knights ran down the Rat Ogres and then reformed to face this way. Let's see. The skeletons, the newly raised unit of skeletons just reformed. The Tomb Guard reformed. The giant scorpion charged the Plague Monks in the rear. That ended up being a drawn combat between the Plague Monks and the skeletons. So that's still going on. The Plague Monks are still frenzied. Nothing happened over here. This scorpion charged a weapon team, killed it, and then overran into the unit with the battle standard and the Warlock Engineer. Over here, the Ushabti ended up beating the Storm Vermin in combat again, but the Storm Vermin managed to hold because they're steadfast. The shooting from that unit of skeleton archers took out all of the Gutter Runners. And over here, they... these archers took out the Rattling Gun that used to be there. The Chariots tried to throw some arrows at the Doom Wheel, but didn't manage to do anything. So that's where we sit. There wasn't much that happened in Magic. It's starting to look a little thin on the Skaven side. So we are going into Skaven turn 4, and we'll see if the Horned Rat is with us. At the end of Skaven turn 4, this is how things sit. In the battle with the Plague Monks and the Skeletons have finally won that combat, so the Plague Monks have lost their frenzy, but they are holding. Magic, the Grey Seer managed to kill off a handful of Tomb Guard, not much going on there. Shooting, the Poison Wind Globadiers took another wound off of the Catapult. The Warp Lightning Cannon didn't do anything. The Storm Vermin have got that unit down to 1 Ushabti, but they actually lost that combat but held that turn. The Doom Wheel didn't charge, but rolled into the skeletons, killed off a few skeletons, but in the shooting phase did another misfire. So now the Doom Wheel is down to 1d6 movement. Over here, these Skaven won combat against the Scorpion and reformed on him. And that is where it sits as we get ready for Tomb King's turn 5. The Skaven are kind of holding on by a thread because our combat units are rapidly getting dwindled down and we're just about out of shooting. So we'll see where things go from here. This is how the table looks at the end of Tomb King's turn 4. The Tomb Guard charged into the flank of the Plague Monks, and together the Tomb Guard, Skeletons, and the Scorpion killed most of the Plague Monks. There were 3 left who broke and then got ran down. So now the Grey Seer's unit is staring down the face of those guys, plus this unit of skeletons that were summoned over there, and then we've got horse archers in the rear, so that's not looking good. Over here, the chariots charged into the flank of the storm vermin and the warlord. The warlord killed off the last of the Ushapti, and the chariots only did 2 wounds to the warlord because thanks to the Dawnstone, he sent a couple wounds back to them. But that's not a good place to be in. The Doomwheel actually lost combat and fled from the skeletons, but the skeletons couldn't catch the Doomwheel. Even on 1d6, the skeletons couldn't catch him. And then these skeletons are just taking pot shots at the Warp Lightning Cannon. At this point, we are going to call the game in favor of the Tomb Kings. The Skaven are going to haul tail back to Skavenblight, and we are going to blame the other clans for our loss. Anything you want to say about the Tomb Kings?
Definitely quite a bit to say. I definitely think the shooting units definitely pulled their points. And the combat units definitely did their job. But I feel like the Knights are definitely one of the highlights. Since they managed to break the Rat Ogres on turn 4, and Ushapti also did pretty well.
Or you mean turn 2?
Oh yeah, turn 2.
Yeah.
And the Ushapti also definitely did good. They managed to hold out for quite a while.
Yeah, they held that unit of storm vermin up and then slowly whittled them down to where they weren't really anything combat effective. So that definitely turned that side over there.
And the catapults also did pretty well. I think there was only like 1 misfire throughout the whole game.
Yeah, the catapults were just raining death down the whole game. No, definitely they deserve some major credit when they get back to the sands. I think as far as the Skaven go, I was a little disappointed in the Doomwheel. He never seemed to do much. And then he misfired twice, taking a movement away. The Grey Seer, nothing really wrong with the Grey Seer. We just had a couple turns where we didn't get a lot of magic dice, but yeah, magic just wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. The assassin is still hidden in the Grey Seer's unit, but there's no need for him to come out now. I would honestly, of all the units, I'm kind of pleased with the Poison Wind Globadiers. Even though you got the wounds back on the catapult, they managed to put a wound on the knights. They killed a Lich Priest, and they took 2 wounds off of a catapult. So I think the Poison Wind Globadiers earned their points back. But yeah, that's it. Anything else you want to say?
I think I'm good.
All right. So for the rest of the summer, look for more Skaven. The Tomb Kings will probably be back in another battle report. We may have a campaign going on soon, but this is the start. So we look forward to bringing more fantasy to the channel. Thanks again for watching. Have a good one.